even when the world is moving towards richer and richer forms of sharing and consumption, text isn't going away. It's still going to be a big thing. But I think how people feel is really important. So that's been a big part of how we tried to emphasize and develop threads. And over time, if you want it to be ubiquitous, you obviously want to be welcome to everyone. But I think how you see the networks and the culture that you create there, I think ends up being pretty important for how they scale over time. Or with Facebook, we started with this real name culture. And it was grounded to your college email address, and now it obviously hasn't been grounded to your college email address for a very long time. But I think the kind of real authentic identity aspect of Facebook has continued and continued to be an important part of it. So I think how we set the culture for threads early on in terms of being a more positive, friendly place for discussion will hopefully be one of the defining elements for the next decade as we scale it out. We obviously have a lot of work to do, but I'd say it's off to a quite a good start. I mean, obviously there's a huge spike, and then not everyone who tried out originally is going to stick around immediately. But I mean, the monthly actives and weeklies, I mean, I don't think we're sharing stats on it yet, but it's good. No, I mean, I feel quite good about that. And
there's been reporting out there that engagement kind of, which I think is natural with any spike like that. Your engagement's not going to sustain. You guys kind of set, I think, the original industry standard on engagement for these kind of products. So I assume you're guiding towards a similar kind of metric.
We just have this playbook for how we do this. And there's like phase one is build a thing that kind of sparks some joy and that people appreciate. Then from there, you want to get to something that is retentive. So when people who have a good experience with a thing come back and want to keep using it. And those two things are not always the same. There are a lot of things that people think are awesome but may not always come back to. And I think some of what people are saying now around like ChatGPT is part of that. It's like, I mean, this is like this level of AI it's like a miracle, right? It's awesome, but it doesn't mean that everyone's going to have a use case every week, right? So I think that there's first is like create the spark. Second is create the retention. Then once you have retention, then you can start encouraging more people to join. But if people aren't going to be retained by it, why would you ask people to go sign up for something, right? So kind of step one, spark. Step two, retention. Step three, growth and scaling the community. And then only at that point is step four, which is monetization. And we take a while to go through all those. I mean, we're really in some sense only getting started on the monetization of the messaging experiences like WhatsApp now with stuff like business messaging. But 2 billion people use the product every day, right? So I mean, we scaled it pretty far. But I think with our model that sort of works. So
to really, I know you're saying you want to not necessarily, you are competing with Twitter, but you're trying to do it differently. To me, as a Twitter addict way too long and a very early Threads user, and I've been seeing similar feedback from others, and like Adam Mosseri's been asking for feedback on Threads, is that it kind of still lacks that real time feeling when you first open it of like I'm going to be getting fresh, because like so I go to Twitter for is news. I know you guys aren't necessarily trying to emphasize news in this for experience, which is a whole other topic really, but like how do you get that kind of Twitter like this is what's going on right now feeling? I don't know if you
I think it's a thing that we'll work on improving. But I mean, hard news content isn't the only fresh content.
Sure.
I mean, even within news, there's a whole spectrum between sort of hard critical news and like people understand what's going on with the sports that they follow, or the celebrities that they follow, or things like that. And a lot of those things don't kind of leave people with the same. It's not like as cutting, right? As a lot of the kind of hard news, especially the political discussion. I think it's just so it's so polarized. I think it's hard to come away from reading news about politics these days feeling good. Right? So I think but that doesn't go for everything. And part of this overall is just how you tune the algorithm to basically encourage either recency or quality but less recency. So I'm not sure that we have that balance exactly right yet. It may be the case that in a product like Threads, where people may want to see more recent content as opposed to something like an Instagram or Facebook, where it's more visual, and the balance might just be towards balancing towards maybe a little more quality, even if it's 12 hours ago instead of 2 hours ago. So I think this is the type of stuff that we need to tune and kind of optimize. But I think I agree with that one.
This hasn't happened yet with Threads, but you're eventually going to hook it into ActivityPub, which is this decentralized social media protocol. It's kind of complicated in layman's terms, but essentially people run their own servers. So instead of having a centralized company run the whole network, people can run their own fiefdoms. It's federated. So Threads will eventually hook into this. This is the first time you've done anything, I think, really meaningful in the decentralized social media space.
Yeah, we're building it from the ground up. So, I mean, I've always believed in this stuff. I mean, a lot of this hasn't.
Yeah, I mean, you run the largest centralized social media.
But it didn't exist when we got started, right? And I think the project of like, I mean, I've had our team at various times do the thought experiment of like, all right, what would it take to move all of Facebook onto some kind of decentralized protocol? It's like, that's just not gonna happen. There's so much functionality that is on Facebook that like, it's way too kind of complicated, and you support all the different things, and it would just take so long, and you'd not be innovating during that time. And I think that there's value in being on one of these protocols, but it's not the only way to deliver value. So the opportunity cost of doing this massive transition is kind of this massive thing. But when you're starting from scratch, you can just design it so it can work with that. And we want to do that with this because I thought that was one of the interesting things that's evolving around this kind of the Twitter competitive space. Is a lot of the others, there is a real ecosystem around that, and I think it's interesting.
So what does that mean for a company like yours long term if people gravitate more towards these decentralized protocols over time? Where does a big centralized player fit into that picture?
Well, I guess my view is that the more that there's interoperability between different services and the more content can flow, the better all the services can be. And I guess I'm just confident enough that we can build the best one of the services that I actually think that will benefit and will be able to build better quality products by our products making sure that we can have access to all of the different content from wherever anyone is creating it. And like, I get that not everyone's going to want to use everything that we build. I mean, that's obviously the case. And it's like, okay, we have 3 billion people using Facebook, but like, not everyone wants to use one product. And I think making it so they can use an alternative but can still interact with people on the network will make it so that product also is more valuable. That you can increase the quality of the product by making it so that you can give people access to all the content even if it wasn't created on the network itself. So I don't know. I mean, it's a bet. I think it takes some confidence. But I don't know. I think it's both good to give people choice. I don't know. There's kind of this funny counterintuitive thing where I just don't think that people like feeling locked into a system. So in a way, I actually think people will feel better about using our products if they know that they have the choice to leave, right? And if we make that super easy to happen, and obviously a lot of competition, and I mean, we do download your data on all our products, and like people can do that today. But it's the more that's designed in from scratch, I think it really just gives creators, for example, the sense that okay, like I have a
agency.
Yeah. So in a way, that actually makes people feel more confident investing in a system if they know that they have freedom over how they operate. So I don't know. I think like it's maybe for phase one of social networking, it was fine to like have these systems that people felt a little more locked into. But I think for the mature state of the ecosystem, I don't think that's going to be where it goes. So I'm pretty optimistic about this. And then if we can build threads on this, then maybe we can over time, as the standards get more built out, it's possible we can spread that to more of the stuff that we're doing. We're certainly working on interop with messaging. And I think that's been an important thing. The first step was kind of getting interop to work between our different messaging systems.
Right, so you can talk to each other. And
then the first decision there was, okay, well, WhatsApp, we have this very strong commitment to encryption. So if we're going to interop, then we're either going to make the others encrypted or we're going to have to decrypt WhatsApp. And it's like, all right, well, we're not going to decrypt WhatsApp. So we're going to go down the path of encrypting everything else, which we're making good progress on. But that basically is just meant completely rewriting Messenger and Instagram direct from scratch. So you're basically going from a model where all the messages are stored in the cloud. It's like you're completely converting the architecture where now all the messages are stored locally and just the way that they're.
While the plane's in the air.
Yeah. So I mean, that's been sort of this like heroic effort by just like 100 or more people over like a multi-year period, and we're basically getting to the point where it's starting to roll out now. But now that we're at the point where we can do encryption across those apps, we can also start to support more in-drop, which I think is
with other services like Meta that Meta doesn't own, other messaging.
Yeah, well, the plan was always to start with the in-drop that between our services, but then to get to that. But yeah, we're starting to experiment with that too.
I promised to stop bringing up Elon, but you and he were together with Senator Chuck Schumer at the White House recently for this big